So hello and welcome to a Film Mixologist. What I'm going to call this video is working through the issues. So we had a few issues with the engine last time, so it was a bit wobbly, and now I've mounted it better on the trolley. I'll explain that in a minute. I had a bit of a fuel leak here, a touch, very little, but now that's been resolved, and also the tank wasn't sitting well on the trolley, so I had to fix that and also put a new plug in. So let's fire it up and see how this goes. So here's one of the things that I was saying about the coach bolts, that it was one thing I needed to work on. So part of the reason why the engine was a bit jumpy was that the new coach bolts weren't sitting very well, because I had to obviously buy new ones because all the other ones were completely destroyed. And if you look at and the difference comes in the height here. So let me see if I can put them there, you can see it. So this piece is much higher in here, and therefore the the bolts were not sitting flush with the rest of the trolley, and that created a situation where they weren't sitting right. So therefore what I had to do is I had to kind of very carefully file around here to kind of recreate this shape in the new bolts. As this is the fifth one. I bought a lot of 5, and therefore now the bolts are much better. So that's one of the issues that we had to work through, and the other one is the gib key. And for the gib key, basically what happens is I just put a bit of Loctite 680, and that generally tended to kind of sort out the key. And now the next thing that I need to do is I need to work on this, which is the pulley, because you know that the pulley was kind of coming out a bit. The flywheel was like this, coming out a bit. And part of it possibly is because, and maybe part of the vibration is also that this engine always had this pulley with it. So therefore maybe it needs the pulley to stop the vibration. So that's my next theory. Well, as you can see, I put some kind of rust converter on it now. So now what I need to do is I need to prime and paint this. So it's ready to put on the engine, and I'll install it in the engine, and hopefully this would quieten down the vibrations in the engine. I mean, at least that's the theory, but there's only one way to find out, which is just painting this, putting it in the engine and fire it up, see how it goes. So as part of the working through the issues series, as you can see, this unit has now been primed, and once the primer dries, which at the bottom it is dry already, once the primer dries, I'm going to put color on this, and with the hope of getting it ready to install as soon as I humanly possibly can, so that I can test my theory that if I put the flywheel on, it's going to make the engine less jumpy. So next step, color and back into the engine. One thing that I forgot to show is that obviously the pulley, this is the outside, what you can see from, and this is the inside. I always paint the inside as well as the outside, even though you won't be able to see it. Nobody will be able to see this anyway. I still paint it. Why? Because A, it looks better, it's good practice, and B, because it protects the metal. So that's why it's very important to paint everything, even though you might not be able to see it, but you still paint it and you still prime it and you cover it. That's kind of something that makes the job better overall. And here's the finished article. Here's the pulley back in the engine, back in the engine. And so now what I just need to do is fire it up again, because I have the theory that actually was maybe a bit out of balance, because it's been from the factory with the pulley, and taking that pulley out might have caused a bit of imbalance. So it's just a question of kind of testing out that theory now. So I guess this brings us to the end of the working through the issues video, so I'll see you in the next episode.